As a physical therapist, I once had a golfer tell me he had to turn down a round of golf because he was afraid of how his back would tighten up, how his swing would get shorter, and he would just lose distance because of his back pain, and he didn't want to do that in front of his friends. It turns out his back wasn't the issue. A lot of times your back is doing movement that should be done from other joints in the body. Today I'm going to take you through a few exercises that help improve the mobility of your hips, decrease the pressure on your back, and increase your swing speed. And stay tuned to the last one, because that is my money move for people who want more power with less pain. So everybody always talks about how my hips are tight, I have stiff hips. And the reason they do that is the hips actually are a big ball and socket. They're supposed to rotate and make it so you can get a lot of movement in your swing. So one of the first things I'll do with all my patients is that I'll have them sit down, I'll have them put their feet forward, right? And I'll have them go side to side, just like a windshield wiper. Now that by itself doesn't do much, but I'll show you a trick that can make it so it feels like a really good stretch. So what you do is you take your leg and you try and kind of push it forward, almost like you're trying to push the thigh out of its socket. And then by doing that, you're gonna kind of tell the hip, let's get moving, we're using you. And I'm looking at my right hip. What we're gonna do is we're gonna move there and then we're gonna try and turn. And you notice how that gets a lot harder, a lot stiffer in your hip as you do it. What this is doing is getting your brain to say, oh yeah, I've done that before. These muscles are able to move. Now we wanna make sure we're switching that up and doing the other side, extend and then rotate, right? And now this is important because if you look at the total arc of somebody's motion, if their hips aren't rotating somewhere around 25 degrees internally, that's this direction, and then externally we wanna be 30, 35 degrees, there's a limitation there. There's something that's not being used in the swing to turn, and what's happening is your lumbar spine is getting it in the neck, right? So if you can't get your hips moving, you're going to make your lumbar spine, which is very good at flexing and extending, not very good at rotation. You're gonna make that lumbar spine do a lot more work. Now, if you're super stiff, the next exercise is really gonna help with the actual joint. This one gets the joint moving and wakes up those muscles. Not a bad one to do while you're sitting at home before you drive out to the golf course. So if you like content like this and you're looking for something that you can use today, I have a free guide for mobility that I use with my golfers here in Scottsdale. It's a general guide, but it'll get most people feeling a lot looser on the course. Obviously, if something's in pain, don't push through that, but check it out in the description. It should help you out. Full 6-week program, completely free. All right, so this exercise is gonna help you increase internal rotation of your hip, which is really important as you turn into your backswing. That's internal rotation here. And then obviously when you come through your follow through. So what you're gonna do is you get on your hands and knees, right, like this. Then you're going to lift your leg up to this position. And then notice, you may not see it on the camera, but I'm kind of tipping it towards you. I wanna be able to do that tip, first of all, just see if I can do it, right? And then the second thing is I wanna really make sure my back is nice and tight, like I don't have this kind of droopy, saggy core, nice and tight. Come up to that 90 degrees, and then see if you can keep that thigh on the tabletop. Don't let it drop down here, don't let it swing around here. See if you can keep that thigh on the tabletop as you rotate. That's gonna isolate hip motion against gravity. You may even start cramping up, that's normal. This isn't a normal thing for people to do, but if you do it more, you'll get more range of motion over time. Okay, so the important thing in the swing is really making sure that when you have your hips dialed in, to use them, right? And we wanna make sure that not just that you're flexible, but that when you go back and you really go back to really get that last few degrees of turn from your hip, that you can actually do it on the course. It's all good to be able to stretch and have a nice long relaxing massage or whatever it is, but if you don't do something active to re-engage those muscle fibers, you're not gonna gain, you're not gonna improve your ability to turn your hip in the backswing. And then honestly, one of the harder things, one of the bigger things is actually being able to comfortably stop and slow down that motion here with internal rotation on the front side, on the lead side. So these two exercises that we showed you were based on strength. I'm gonna show you another one that's a little bit of stretching, a little bit of strengthening, and it's my money move that I use to tell players, do this before you hit the range, and they love it. All right, so for this exercise, you wanna get in a 90-90 position, meaning 90 degrees knee, 90 degrees hip, right, through the pelvic area to the other thigh, and then this one here at 90 degrees as well. So the first thing you want to do, you can do both sides of this. You can look on lead leg, external rotation, trail leg, internal rotation. You can do it from the same position. So I'll tell my golfers before they go to the range, just do this. It'll loosen up your hips. Low back should feel fine. So what you do is you lean right forward. You try and put your chest through your knee. And then usually I have people hold that for about 30 seconds, 20, 30 seconds, depending on what you have. You should feel a stretch either down in here or maybe back in the down hips, the butt, right? Now you do that, feel a good stretch with it. And what you do afterwards is you have to retrain that motion. So then you lean back, give your hip that nice amount of space, and then see if you can lift the leg up, right? So you just gain more range of motion. Now you got to retrain that new range of motion so your body knows what to do on the golf course instead of just kind of flopping around. Same thing here with the trail leg. We're doing internal rotation. Now for this one, you really want to turn your pelvis towards your leg, towards the thigh, and you really want to see the space underneath here. You want to try and close that down as far as you can, and you should feel a nice stretch through the leg doing that. Again, this is going to be tighter than this side, just naturally. We're tighter in an internal rotation than we are in external rotation on average. Some people are different, and we can get into those in different videos, but for most people, this is going to be a little bit stiffer. You're going to turn and you're going to hold like that, maybe again for 30 seconds. And then from here, you're going to get away from the hips. So you're going to lean forward like this, get that pressure off that area again. And then you're going to see, can I lift that foot up? And then maybe do 5 or 10 of these, just again, to tell your brain, new range of motion, let's go, this should be fine. And that's my money move for getting your hips loose prior to a range session. Now, if you're out on wet grass, this is a little harder to do. Maybe go into the gym or the clubhouse, see if you can sit out, or you can do this right before you get in the car and go to the range if you don't have too much of a drive. If you are able to change the balance of power in your swing from your low back to your hips and offload your low back so that it doesn't have to do so much work in the swing, you are going to get less pain on the golf course, you're going to swing faster, and it's not going to ruin your day afterwards. So hopefully these tips have helped you. If you want more, I have another video working on thoracic rotation so it doesn't cause the back to be in pain. If you want a more comprehensive plan, I have a free 6-week guide in the description. Make sure that you check it out. It'll help you all over your body. It's what I give to all my golfers here in Scottsdale that gets them hitting farther with less pain.